Well, what a beautiful day it is in the great city of London. One of the things I love to do is just now and again take a walk in my local park and remember that the Lord is with me. Remember He's with me as I walk. It's so refreshing for my soul. You know, we live in a world that can be very overwhelming, get very busy, and often we can be troubled and worried inside with all the things that are going on, all the things that we have to do, all the things that aren't going the way we hoped or expected, and we can get bogged down with troubles. But it's an amazing thing when we take time to allow our souls to be restored and remember that the Lord is with us. I was preaching yesterday on the troubled soul and looking at Philippians 4. One of the things that Paul says, now this is a guy who's experienced a lot of trouble, a lot of hardship, a lot of worrying situations, and he's writing to people who have also experienced some worrying situations. And he says, rejoice in the Lord always, because the Lord is near. Rejoice in the Lord always, the Lord is near. You know, the Lord is always near to us. It doesn't matter what we're going through, what we're facing, the Lord is near. Sometimes we can feel very distant from Him. I remember when my children were a little bit younger, I would sometimes take them shopping or somewhere like that, and they would get engrossed in what they were doing and looking at the aisles, and they'd wander off, and I would kind of follow them just a little bit of distance. So I was close to them, they were in my gaze, but they didn't realize what they were doing. And they'd get to a point where they'd look around, they couldn't see me, they couldn't see anyone they knew, and they were worried and they were overwhelmed. And at that point I would call out and say, Andrew, Matthew, I'm right here, you know. And often we do that, don't we? We get ourselves, all distant from God. We focus on all of these things that we need to do, all the worries, all the troubles, and we forget that the Lord is near. But one of the promises of the gospel, one of the promises of Scripture, when we receive Jesus, is that God is always near to us. And even when we wander off, even when we drift away, even when we consume ourselves with all these other things, the Lord remains near and available, and we can turn to Him. So it might feel like He's distant, but the truth is He is always there. Psalm 23 says, even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me, your rod and your staff, they comfort me. I want to encourage you today, no matter what you are going through, no matter what you are facing, no whatever might be troubling your soul, remember the Lord is near, and turn to Him. Know His presence. Bring your requests to Him, and you will know that promise that the peace of God, which passes all understanding, will keep your hearts and minds. Remember Jesus, God with us. He is near to you today.